This
refer
conference
it.
will now be recorded.
Okay. Okay. So uh, the agenda for today is to discuss about these important points over here. So the first point is what is performance testing and and various tools in the market. And the second is the LoadRunner architecture, because this course is purely for the LoadRunner tool. So we will discuss about the LoadRunner architecture, and we will also learn how to record a simple script, or how to generate a simple script, okay, through using the tool. And we will also go through the course content once. Okay, if you have any questions related to course content also, I can clarify at the end. So at the end, you obviously you have the Q&A open for all of you. Okay. So the first point is what is performance testing? But I mean, uh, some of you might be from a non-IT background. Some of you might be from IT background, probably from manual testing or automation testing. Okay, maybe just want to enhance your skills. Okay, so this course is designed to keeping all of the participants in mind. Okay, I mean non-IT guys and IT guys. Okay, and so before I explain performance testing, I just want to mention couple of points about software testing. So in the software development life cycle, okay, basically in the entire development process, there will be one phase for software testing. Okay, once the development team develops the application, right? In that process, there is a phase where the testers will come into picture, and they do the software testing. So within the software testing, you have both functional testing and non-functional testing. So functional testing is all about testing the functionality of the application. Okay. So for example, um, if you take any of the application, sample application, let's say Facebook, for example, just for example, let's say the functionality, one of the functionality of that Facebook application is to share a post. So if if I ask you to test whether any user is able to share a post or not, so what will you do? You just log into the application and then select some post and share it. That means you are testing the functionality, whether it is working or not. But are you able to share a post or not? We are testing it. So we are actually focusing on the functionality aspect. Okay, so within that you have this integration testing, regression testing, and we use some automation tools also like Selenium, UFT, to do the functional regression. Okay, so these tools are mainly for functional automation. Okay, if you have any functionality to be tested, okay, if you want to use some automation tools for that, you can go with Selenium or UFT. Then there is something called non-functional testing, where it focuses on something like performance, security, etc. So what do you mean by performance? Okay, it's not, I mean, the primary focus is not on the functionality, rather on the performance. I mean, let's say you want to share a post. So if you clicked on share, how much time it is taking to share a post? I mean, you know, it's like testing the performance of that particular application, okay, or a particular functionality. So with respect to performance testing, we use some tools like LoadRunner, JMeter, etc. We have other tools also like NeoLoad, Gatling, and all. But the most widely used tools in the market are LoadRunner and JMeter. Okay. Now I will give you one more example outside of software. For example, I mean with respect to functional and performance. Now, take any lift. I mean, generally we use lift, right? If you want to go from one floor to other floor, we make use of those lift, right? So let's say you are on the ground floor, you enter into the lift and you press 4 button. So that means uh, the lift should go to 4th floor and stop there. That is the functionality. When you press 4, it should go to 4th floor and it should stop there. Okay, but are you the only one who is using the lift? What is the capacity of that lift? So let's say the capacity of that lift is 10 people. Now, when 10 people are in the lift, okay, and then press 4 button, how much time it is taking to reach 4th floor is about performance. It's not about single person. See, a single person can click 4, press 4, and it will obviously go to 4th floor. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. But when it comes to performance, okay, it's about how many people are there, how many users are there. Okay, lift capacity is 10. Okay, when 10 people are there, how much time it is taking to go to 4th floor? So functionality is nothing but whether the lift is going to 4th floor or not. If you press 4, if it goes to 6th floor, that's not correct, right? But when it comes to performance, when let's say max people are within inside the lift and you press 4, how much time it is taking to go to 4th floor is all about performance. Similarly, when it comes to software applications, any web applications or whatever it is, okay, so if I mean if with the number of users accessing the application, how the application is performing, that is about performance testing. So the number of users is an important term, or that we have to use here. Okay, so only a single person or a single user, with a single user or a single person, we cannot do a performance testing, or we cannot call it as a performance testing. When you have a number of users, okay, using which you, I mean, maybe you are accessing some application and you see how that application is performing. Okay, let's say you are working for some bank. Okay, now let's say you what are the general functionalities of bank? You transfer money, you download statement, you pay credit card bill. These are some of the important functionality of a bank. But if only one user is accessing the bank application and navigating all through all these screens, that doesn't make sense. Now, let's say if 200 people or 300 people are using the bank application, and out of the 300, some are downloading statements, some are transferring money, some are paying credit card bill. Okay, so that is, checking the performance. That means when you have number of users accessing the application, and when you see how the application is responding, how fast the application is loading, how fast the pages are loading, how fast you are able to navigate from one page to another page. Now all this is about performance testing. So in short, okay, if I want to write a statement for that, so I can write like this: checking the performance of an application by applying some load. See, some load or expected load. Load means the number of users. So without number of users, you cannot do a performance testing. You cannot do a performance testing with single user. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so in short, if you ask me generic way, sir, how can I define a performance testing in a simple word, in simple words? So just checking the performance of an application by applying some load. Okay, now this is a normal generic statement we have discussed. Okay, maybe in our upcoming sessions I'll tell you the textbook kind of definition also. Okay, but this is our demo session, right? Let's stick to this generic statement for time being so that we can understand the concept easily. Okay, so now hope you got little idea about what is performance testing all about. Okay, of course there are various tools in the market like LoadRunner, JMeter, okay, NearLoad, but most widely used tools are LoadRunner and JMeter. Now you can ask me a question: sir, what if we don't do performance testing? Why it is important? Yes, it is very important. If you don't do performance testing, it can directly impact the financial aspect also from the business perspective. Okay, so how many of you remember, I think in 2000, in the year 2013 or 2014, if you remember, one of the e-commerce website, for the first time they announced a big sale. So what happened at that point of time? Let's say 12 p.m. we are starting a big sale with various products, offering a huge amount of discount and so on. So normally, let's say for that e-commerce website, let's say 10,000 people will access normal conditions. Now, because there is a discount and there is a big sale on that particular day and time, let's say the number of users increased drastically. Let's say 10,000, normally 10,000. Now on that particular day, let's say 50,000 or 1 lakh users. What happened on that day in the year 2014? they didn't expect so many users to access the application, because of which it crashed. Crashed in sense the application crashed. I mean, nobody was able to utilize that big sale opportunity. Okay, it was a failure at that point of time. So from then onwards, it never failed till now. Why? Because they have taken care of the most important aspect called performance. Without performance, no application can sustain in the market. For example, let's say you have uh, some game like car racing. No, you download that game and you started playing. You see it's very slow. I mean, you press the left button, right button. You apply brake. Everything is slow. Let's say maybe that is an issue. Maybe that's related to the issue is related to game. Now, will you continue to use that game, or will you switch to other game with similar features and similar options? Obviously, you will switch to other game. That means there is a business loss there. That means there is a business loss, right? For example, you have an email application. Now you attach some 5 attachments and you clicked on send to some recipient, but email is not going. It got stuck for some xyz reason. Okay, it happened once. Now frequently it is happening to you. What will you do? You switch to other email provider. I mean, you will use other emails. I mean, whichever is working fast for you. So performance plays an important role. Okay, performance plays an important role. Okay, so if the user satisfaction, if it goes down, it will have a direct impact on the business. Okay, financially. Okay, see here, I have written a point. If performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, inconsistency, and may further result in business loss. Okay, so that's the reason performance testing is very, very important. And one more important point here, the goal of performance testing is to find performance issues. Okay, the term I have used is bottlenecks, but it is also called as issues. So generally we call it as issues, but in performance testing terminology, we call it as a bottleneck. So the primary goal of a performance testing is to find performance bottlenecks rather than finding functional bugs. So we are not here to identify any functionality issue. Of course, it is also important, but our primary focus will always be on identifying some of the performance issues. Okay, so that's the reason performance testing is very, very, very important. Okay, so hope you got a bit, little idea about what is performance testing, why performance testing is important. Okay, so if you have any questions as of now, just make a note of it and paste it in the chat window, or else you can ask, probably in the Q&A session time. Okay, now we will move on to the next topic, that is load runner architecture. Why load runner architecture? Because this course is entirely about load runner. Okay, there are other tools also. As I said, the most widely used tools are LoadRunner and JMeter. So we will understand what is LoadRunner architecture, how it works, and then we will come to other concepts. Okay, so for that, let me open a particular slide for you. Okay, where we will discuss about okay, the LoadRunner architecture. So the architecture diagram, we will derive it based on some questions. Okay, directly I'm not going to show you the architecture diagram, the complete architecture diagram. We will discuss based on some questions. For example, there is a bank application. Okay, so there is a bank application. Uh, Generally, a bank application, uh, let's say you have to, I asked you to test, I asked you to do a performance testing for that bank application with 500 users. With 500 users. So what will you do? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops and ask them to perform some actions on the banking application so that you can analyze the performance from your end? Will you do that? Will you bring 500 people? No, you cannot do it, because you cannot bring 500 people and assign them laptops and ask them to access the application so that I can see how it is performing. It's not possible. Okay, even if it is possible, let's say, even if it is possible. Let's say instead of 500, I ask you to test that bank application with 5,000 users. That means I want to know how that bank application is performing when 5,000 users are accessing it. I mean, at a time. Like all those 500 users need not do the same thing, same task. Out of that 5,000 users, let's say 1,000 users will transfer money, 2,000 users will pay credit card bill, 2,000 users will download bank statements, anything. But overall, 5,000 users access the application. Now, you cannot bring 5,000 people, okay, and assign them 5,000 laptops and ask them to perform various tasks so that you can analyze the performance from your end. It's not possible. So what you can do is you can make use of one of the component called load generator. So this is one of the component of LoadRunner architecture. What this load generator will do, it will simulate virtual users for us. So instead of the direct users, this component will simulate virtual users. Okay, so what those virtual users will do for us? They will also perform the actions like how a normal user do. Okay, this load generator is also a machine with high configuration, like 16 GB RAM, something like that, 32 GB RAM, like that. Just giving an example. Why high configuration? Because it has to simulate or generate virtual users. How many virtual users it can generate? It depends on the configuration. Okay, we will discuss that point later. But overall, this component is purely used to simulate the virtual users. Okay, so what these virtual users will do? They will perform the actions. Like let's say I want to run a load test with 1,000 users. Okay, I will use this load generator. Okay, in for the test. Now this load generator will simulate 1,000 users for me, and those 1,000 users will perform some actions on the bank application. Okay, so for that reason, load generator component is used. Now you have load generator ready. Now you need to run some scripts so that you can analyze the performance. What is a script? For what reason we develop the script? For what reason we generate the script? See, for bank application, what is the most common scenario? Transfer money. Transfer money is the most common scenario, right? So what are the common steps that we perform manually for transfer money? First, you launch the application. Okay, then you log into the application, isn't it? Then you navigate to your account, savings account, whatever it is. Then you select a beneficiary, right? Select a beneficiary. Then you enter amount and probably let's say click transfer button and then log out. So isn't it these are the steps that we generally do manually also for transferring money? So when I want to know how the performance when I want to know the performance of this functionality called transfer money, I have to perform these steps. Okay, so these users, virtual users, should run these steps. Okay, then we will know, okay, how the application is behaving. So this load generator will let's say generate 1,000 users. These 1,000 users will run these particular steps. Okay, so so then we can analyze the performance. These are the steps. Okay, just for example. So now how do you run a script for these steps? How do you generate these steps? So there is a component called Vusion, okay, which is used to record or generate the script for the functionalities. So similar to these functionalities, there can be any functionality like download statement, pay credit card bill. For all such functionalities of a bank application, if you want, you can generate a script. You can record a script by using which component of the LoadRunner architecture? Vusion. Okay, so it's not specific to banking. It's common. This is a component used to develop scripts or record scripts or generate scripts. Okay, now you have two components ready. One is load generator, which will simulate users. One is Vusion, which will generate the script for us. Why we need to generate the script? because we need to run the same flow again and again with multiple users. That's the reason we need to have a common script for us. Okay, which component will do that? Fusion. Okay, we will see that practically in some time. Now, when you have load generator ready, when you have a Vusion ready, so Vusion is ready with scripts. Now you need a component to upload the scripts which we develop here. These scripts, whatever we develop, there should be a component to upload those scripts and trigger the execution. Okay, trigger the load test execution. That component is called controller or performance center, or in fact, in the recent times, you can also call it as LRE. Okay, so this component is primarily used to okay, whatever the scripts that we developed in Vusion, right? So we upload them into controller or performance center. Okay, and then we run a load test for that. Okay, and once the load test is done, okay, once the load test is done, we have to analyze the results. So there is some component called analysis, which will help us or assist us in analyzing the results in a detailed way. In a detailed way. Okay, so there is one more component, small component called agent process. Okay, which we will discuss in our upcoming session. There is a connectivity between this and this. Okay, we will discuss that. But on the whole, at a basic, I mean high level, these are the components: load generator, Vusion, controller or performance center, analysis. Load generator is to simulate virtual users. Vusion is to develop or record or generate the script for these sort of functionalities. And once the script is developed, we will upload those scripts to controller or performance center, where we trigger the load test. Once the load test is executed, okay, all the results will be and can be analyzed using analysis component. Okay, and then you tell your client or the application team or the development team that, hey, this is how your application is working. So and so steps are performance is fine. Couple of steps performance is less. Let's say login is very slow. You mentioned that only. I mean, after analyzing the result, you mentioned to development team or client that, hey, everything looks good, but login is something slow. Okay, now you can ask me one more question. That, sir, you are saying, okay, we will run all these steps: launch, login, navigate. Okay, all these steps. Now you are saying that no user will navigate. I mean, user will verify for performance. Let's say when a user clicks a button or when user clicks a link, how much time it is taking to navigate from one page to another page, right? Now the question can be the question can be, sir, is there any standard, or generally how much time how much time it will take, it should take for when you click a link, how much time it should take generally for navigating from one page to another page? See, basically it depends on the project. Okay, but the industry standard is 2 seconds. Now, according to standard, if you if you click any link or any button, you should navigate to a next page within 2 seconds. That is the industry standard. However, there are some exceptions. Like some projects, they will be okay with 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds also. Why? Sometimes the project architecture will be more complex, so there is no other option except for them to to accept it for 3 seconds or 5 seconds. But if you ask me again, the industry standard is only 2 seconds. Okay, so this is about the load runner architecture. Okay, so we will discuss again these points in our upcoming sessions once again. Now, without any delay, I am going to launch this component called Vusion and record a small flow like these steps, like launch, login, logout. So I will record these steps for any sample application. Okay, so now I'll go to Vusion. Okay, now once you install LoadRunner, okay, if you go to search and if you type Vusion, okay, you will see that component. Okay, this is the component. So click on it so that it will launch Vusion. Okay, which is primarily used for developing the script or recording the script or generating the script. So it's launching Vusion. Okay, now what are the steps that we will record? Okay, let's say we will take a sample application. Okay, and we will record these steps. One, launch of the application. We will launch any application, then log in, then log out. And what we will do after recording the script for these three steps, we will replay also. Once you replay, you will get to know, okay, like how it is displaying the response times, how the code is getting generated, how do you analyze the code at a high level. We'll understand in next 10 minutes. Okay, so this is how the screen will come up once you launch Vusion. Okay, now what you have to do is just click on file and click on new script and solution. Okay, so this is just a demo. I'll explain all the other options and all detail in our upcoming sessions. So first just click file and click new script and solution, and here uh, just choose this web HTTP HTML because we are working on the web application, so which runs on web protocol. So we have to choose this. Why this? What are the others? We'll discuss later. Now where exactly you want to store the script? So that path you have to give here. Let's say I'll create a new path for this batch. Okay, so if I click on those three dots, so here you go, you have, okay, March underscore, let's say 8 a.m. Okay, I created a new folder. So in this folder, I'm going to save the script. Here I have to give the script name. Let's say the script name is demo. Script name is demo, and this is where I want to save the script. Okay, click on create button. Once you click on create button, it will take you to the screen where you can start recording the script. Okay, so this is the screen, guys. So this is where your code will be generated, this space where the code will be generated after you record. So these are the different options that you have, which we will understand in detail in our upcoming sessions. For time being, just understand that whatever you record, it will come into this action, okay, into this action. So here, this is the action, editor space where you can see the recorded script later on. Okay, now what is that you want to record? Okay, you want to record any application like launch, login, log off. Three steps you want to record. Three steps. Which three steps? These three steps. For which application? Okay, for today, just take any sample application like WebTours. WebTours is a sample application provided by Micro Focus, okay, for practice purpose. So I'll take WebTours application. So let me launch that server first. Actually, the server needs to be launched if you want to access that sample application. Okay. Now, how do you record the flow? Okay, I want to record launch, login, and log off on WebTours application. How do you record the flow? So there is a record icon over here. If you see, this icon is related to record option. Or if instead of that, you can click this record option on the menu bar. Okay, and you can click on record option here also. Alternatively, you can just click on this record icon. Okay, so once you click on record icon, what will happen? A pop-up window will appear. In this pop-up window, you have various options, okay, which we will discuss again, but couple of options I'll tell you now. That is, okay, into which action you want to record? Yes, I want to record in action only. Okay, we will see the remaining option later. So, what is the browser that you want to choose for recording? Using which browser you want to record the flow, okay, or the application? So let's say I will choose Firefox. I will choose Firefox browser. You can choose Chrome, you can choose Microsoft Edge, any of the browser. Okay, now if you don't find that browser here, you can actually go to click on these three horizontal dots and you can get it. We'll see that in tomorrow's session. So just choose the Firefox browser, okay, or any Chrome browser or whatever it is, in fact, and then give the application path here. Give the application path. For example, the application path is this one, localhost webtours dot. This is the URL actually. This is the sample application what I'm trying to record. So this application I'm going to launch, and I'm going to log in, and I'm going to log out. So this URL I have to give here. Let's choose that URL here. See, this is the URL. Okay. See, I'm just checking that, confirming the URL. Yes, that is the URL. Now, don't choose any of the options. We'll discuss later. just select the browser and the URL and just click on start recording. So as soon as you click on start recording, what will happen is this browser will be launched with this particular URL. Okay, and then this tool will start capturing the code related to the actions that we perform on the browser. For example, okay, when I click on start recording now, automatically the Mozilla Firefox browser will be launched with the given URL. Just wait for a few seconds, you will see the browser and the application launched. See the application browser launch it first, and then you see the application, it is routing to the application home, the launch page. See that? Okay, you see. So the browser launch page is there, and you also see there is a movable window over here. So this option, this movable window option, will help us in recording the entire script. Okay, there are different options again. First thing you see is this number which keeps on increasing. So when it keeps on increasing, actually it is a good sign that our tool is able to record the application. Our tool is able to record the application. Okay, if this number keeps on increasing. If number doesn't increase, like if it is 1 2 and it got stuck there, that means there is some issue which we have to look into it. How to overcome it, we'll discuss later. Okay, as long as you perform some actions on the UI, this number keeps on increasing. Okay, uh, okay, that's the main point. And then these options is stop recording, pause recording. Okay, and then these concepts we'll discuss later. Now the important thing that we have to discuss now is these two options. What are these two options? So these two options assist us in recording the script in a proper flow with a with a transaction naming, transaction proper naming transaction. So let's say, what is the next action I want to perform on the UI? What is that I'm going to do on the UI next? I will log in. So now what you have to do is, before you actually do that, just click on this icon which says insert start transaction. So you have to definitely start a transaction, give a name, and then go to the UI and then perform the action manually. Okay, now first just click on this insert start transaction, give a name for the action whatever you are performing. So the action that I'm doing is login. So I give login and click OK. As soon as you click OK, you see this end transaction button also enabled. See, end transaction button also enabled, but don't click it. What you have to do is, before clicking that, you have to go and manually perform the action whatever you want to do on this page. Okay, so let's say I will enter the username and password and click on login button. Click on login button. You see now login is done. Login is done. Wait for a few seconds, and then now click on end transaction. Now it is time to click on end transaction. Just click on end transaction. Which transaction you are going to end? Login. The one which I started, I'm going to end it now because login is done. Now, what is the next transaction? What is the next action you are going to perform? Log off. So I'm going to start a new transaction. Okay, again, insert new transaction, log off, and then click on OK button. Now, once you start a transaction log off, go and directly click on sign off button. That means go and perform the actual action on the UI. Now, when you click on sign off button, the application is logged out, the user is logged out, and now you can actually click on end transaction. After waiting for a few seconds, you just click on end transaction. Which transaction you want to end? Log off. Just click on it. Now done. Now you can actually stop recording. You can actually stop recording because all the three steps we recorded successfully. Launch, login, log off. Now click on stop recording. Once you stop recording, what will happen? The tool will generate the code or generate the script for us. Okay, after which you can customize little bit. Okay, work on couple of concepts and then make it a final script. Okay, So after recording is done, you will be landing on this recording report page, which we will discuss tomorrow. But go to the action where you see the code. See, this is the code that got generated. How many lines of code it generated? Approximately some 50 lines of code. Now, if you see properly, okay, see this is some thing. Okay, now if you observe properly, line number 16, it says LR start transaction login. Okay, now from where did this come? Now, while recording, I inserted start transaction login, right? That one. So this line is generated just because of that, stating that from here, from next step, we are going to start login process. Now we are going to start login process, and this request, this piece of code belongs to login. Okay, how can I say? Because here you see LR end transaction login. That means this transaction what we started here, we are ending here. Now, why this line came up? Because during recording, you see a movable window where I clicked on insert end transaction after performing the action. So first I inserted a start transaction because of which this code got generated. Then this code got generated because I performed some action on the UI like login. You can see the username and password that I passed. See here. And then I performed the next action called insert end transaction, for which this particular line got generated. Okay, good. Now if you scroll down little bit, you see again LR start transaction log off. That means this is the next transaction, next action that you perform. So LR end transaction log off. So this is start transaction, this is end transaction. In between whatever is there, that code belongs to log off. That code belongs to log off. Now this is log off, guys. Now this is login, guys. Can anyone tell me what is this particular code related to then? Anyone unmute and tell me? Anyone? What is this particular code related to then?
Response time of login.
URL, URL, right?
What is this particular? So this is login.
Response time of
Thi-
login.
This is log off.
It is the launch.
Then it
It is
is
the launch
launch.
of the application.
So this piece of code belongs to launch. So by simple, it is there before login. So what did we do before login? We launched the application. But one important point you have to note is, for launch of the application, you don't see any start transaction launch and end transaction launch like this. Why? Because as soon as you click on record icon here, if you see, when you clicked on the start recording button, it automatically launched the Firefox browser with this given URL. Okay, then it didn't give me a chance to actually start a transaction for launch and end a transaction for launch. Before that itself, it launched the application by default. From there on, I inserted start transaction login, end transaction login, insert start transaction log off, end transaction log off. Those steps I performed. However, I didn't get an opportunity to insert start transaction and end transaction for launch. So what you can do is you can manually write that function. So you can write LR underscore. LR underscore means these are load runner functions. LR stands for load runner. LR underscore start underscore transaction is a function. Okay, using which we can give a transaction name to that request. So what is this transaction name I can give? Let's say launch. After this request, after line number 16, you have to write LR underscore end underscore transaction. Got it? Now, whatever the name that you have given for the launch, whatever the name you have given for launch, same name you have to give in the end transaction also. And write an additional keyword called LR underscore auto, which we will discuss later. What is this keyword all about? Now you see a large start transaction launch, then you have a launch request. This is a launch request. Then you have a large start transaction end transaction launch, that's done. Then you have a large start transaction login request. LR end transaction login. Then you have a large start transaction log off request, and then end transaction. Now if I run this, okay, how do I run or replay this? Just click on this run icon over here. When you run or replay this, it will tell you how much time it has taken for launch. how much time it has taken for login, and all those things. Okay, how much time it has taken to launch, how much time it has taken to log if, it will tell us. Okay, so let me see that. See here, I just ran that, and here you go. You see clearly 3 transactions. Launch has taken 0.593 seconds. Login has taken 0.356 seconds. Log off has taken some 0.685 seconds. So it is giving you some information, like how much time the login has taken, how much time the log off has taken, how much time the launch has taken. Like that, it is giving you some information. Now the same thing, the same script, what we ran is just with one user. I just ran, that's it. I didn't apply any load or anything. Just run with one user, it is giving me this information. Now when I run the same script, now when I run the same piece of code with, let's say, 100 users or 500 users, that means I'm applying a load, and at that point of time I have to verify how the application is responding, how much time it is taking for launch, how much time it is taking for login and log off, like that. So for every action that you perform on the UI, mostly we'll try to capture the response time. Okay, what do you mean by response time? This one, the amount of time taken to get the response back. Okay, so we discussed, right, the industry standard. So this should not exceed 2 seconds. So anyway, and if, I mean, according to the industry standard, if any of this is exceeding 2 seconds, you have to discuss with your application team or the development team. Okay, so there are some exceptions. We'll discuss in detail. I mean, slowly, everything one by one, concept by concept, we'll understand in detail for sure. Okay, I can assure you 110% on that. I just want you to have a glance up, on, on this tool, and see how the code is getting generated, what exactly it is giving us. Okay, and all those stuff. Okay, so I hope you got a good understanding about all these three, okay, points. Okay, so we are running out of time. So what we will do is, now we will go to LoadRunner course content. Now, as of now, whatever the questions you have, make a note of it. Clearly make a note of it, and we can discuss in some time from now, maybe after 5 to 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we can discuss all the question and answers. Now let's go and see this LoadRunner course content. So let me share you that particular slide. Okay, there you go. This is the LoadRunner course content. Now it starts with architecture basics. We will understand LoadRunner architecture, okay, and all those things. How is it different from project architecture, and all those things I'll explain. Performance testing life cycle. Okay, then proof of concept, non-functional requirements gathering, test plan, workload modeling. These are all the important concepts, okay, for every performance tester. So the actual work begins here. Now, if you go to any interview, if they ask you what were your day-to-day activities, you have to, or what were your project activities that you were involved in. So you have to begin with all these concepts. If you don't tell all of this, again it will be a problem. You have to say all of the concepts, whatever are there. You have to tell that I worked on all of these. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll make you a master on this, like on what are these concepts and all those stuff. Okay, these are all theoretical based concepts actually till here. Okay, this one involves some formulas also, but however mostly these are theory based. Okay, from here on you get to see the practical sessions. So introduction to LoadRunner installation, different components, how do you record and replay, features of Vusion tool. Okay, and then the best scripting practices in Vusion, transaction names, okay, debugging options and all those things. Then you have runtime settings. Okay, then you have recording options. Okay, then you have this recording options, then you have checkpoints means assertion kind of thing, like I don't know how many of you from automation. Okay, like you have something called assertions there. If not, no need to worry, we will anyways learn here. But it's all about, like, validating whether you are redirecting to the correct page or not. Now you click a link. Okay, you just click a link. You have to navigate to some page. How do you make sure that you are navigating to correct page? So these checkpoints will help us there. Okay, then you have this important point, introduction to C language. Now most of you might ask a question, sir, is coding required for this tool also? I will never say no, because we need just a few basics of coding, like 5%. Okay, so 90% your recorded script will be sufficient. So 5 to 10% you might have to make some changes to your script with the help of some supporting language like C. Okay, in the recent days JavaScript is also there, but we will go with C because it's there since ages, and all the support is available for C language. Okay, now we will discuss these C language concepts for 3 to 4 days. I mean, these are the topics that we discuss, very basics of any programming language. Okay, I'm sure, I mean, with this, at least, I mean, whoever is coming from non-IT background, they will also get an opportunity to learn some basics of coding, and get some knowledge, and make use of it in their projects. Okay, so very basics, guys. Don't get I mean, don't think too much when you see a C language. No, we don't even go to pointers. No, not required. It's very simple basics, and that too we have to integrate with LoadRunner concepts. We will not directly write C language. We will integrate with the LoadRunner code. Okay, so we will see how we will do that. Then you have some inbuilt C language functions, LR functions, and all those things we'll discuss. One important concept we'll discuss is how to write data to a file, like a notepad file, how to read data from a file. Okay, then what are some real-time challenges we will discuss. Then you have some very important concept called correlation. This concept is not only specific to LoadRunner, it is there in JMeter, other tools also. Very important. So it is that important that if you don't know, or if you don't understand this concept, it's easy only. But if you don't practice, or if you don't know this concept, you cannot develop LoadRunner scripts, or in fact any performance testing tool script. It's that important. Okay, we will learn this for 3 days, 3 to 4 days. Then you have parameterization, very important again. This concept is all about how do you pass a test data to the scripts. Okay, you might have to pass different test data to the script. How do you do that? By using the concept of parameterization. We will discuss for 3 days again. Then you have, till here the scripting concepts will be completed. Then you will move on to the controller, where we upload the scripts whatever we develop, and then we create a scenario, then we trigger the execution, and we monitor the execution. All those things we'll do in controller. Okay, we'll do it for 3 days or so. Okay, then you have analysis. Okay, analysis component, so where you analyze all the results, like important metrics, all the results, merging graphs, throughput, response time, HTTP response code, transaction summary, and all those stuff. How to identify bottlenecks, how to identify the issues. Okay, all these things we will discuss in analysis part. Then you have analyzing and providing observations. Then this is also very important, drafting email with all observations to client. See, generally you don't find this anywhere in Google also. The reason is, see, you have run a load test. You have to send an email to client with all your observations, because with your input only client will decide what to do, whether to use that application in with real-time users or not. See, if the performance is very poor, they will not take risk. So your opinion matters. Okay, so for that reason we have a separate session where we discuss about how to draft an email in detail, okay, with all observations to client. Then you have interview question and answers discussions. Then we will practice scripting on other applications also. Okay, like end-to-end scripting practice on other applications. Then we will discuss one important concept called virtual table server. It's not a concept actually, it's a concept with some new tool. A tool means some utility. Okay, with given by Micro Focus, that is LoadRunner only. Okay, these are the concepts, guys. Now apart from these, there are some bonus topics which we will be discussing as part of our course. So how do you do har file and fiddler scripting? Okay, and har file fiddler scripting means, if you're unable to record a script for some XYZ reason, you alternative way is har file and fiddler. Okay, so you have to use this. Then uh, we will discuss about the APM tools. Like, APM tools are nothing but application monitoring tools. For what reason they use these APM tools? To continuously monitor the performance of the application. Okay, very important nowadays in the market. Earlier, there were not many APM tools, but now there are so many APM tools. Like most widely used APM tools are Dynatrace and AppDynamics. So these two things we will have one session on Dynatrace, one session on AppDynamics. We will understand from performance tester perspective what exactly you are going to fetch from AppDynamics and Dynatrace. We will understand. Okay, so we will get to see so many metrics like heap utilization, CPU utilization. We'll discuss in detail. So okay, so we have a couple of sessions for those, and then you have one session for CI/CD Jenkins, where I will tell you what is Jenkins all about. How do you trigger a local performance load runner scenario using Jenkins? Okay, you have a scenario ready, use the load runner script scenario. You want to run it through Jenkins. Yes, you can do. See, these are out of the box concepts. Why? Because in nowadays, we are in the agile model. Okay, so we have to not only learn load runner, but also we need to have an idea about the agile tools. Okay, some of the tools. Okay, like Jenkins. Okay, that's the reason we'll understand what is Jenkins, how to trigger a local scenario using Jenkins, and that. And then we will also have a session on true client protocol. There is a different protocol called true client. We will have we will have a separate session for true client protocol also. And then little bit more about heap dumps and thread dumps. Very, very important. Okay, so from performance tester perspective, without these concepts, there won't be any interview for you. It's that important. Okay, this and this, and then this also. So load balancer algorithm discussions. We will see what is load balancer, what are its algorithms and all in our upcoming session. And then I'll also tell you how to connect it to load runner through, how to connect it to database through load runner. I will also tell you that particular concept also. So all these are bonus topics, and apart from all these, you'll also get a recorded sessions, okay, of performance testing for web services. Okay, so you will get a recorded session for performance testing using for web services. So these are the topics or the course content, guys. Okay, so hope you got some clarity. Now without any delay, I will accept, I mean, we will discuss about about the questions. Whoever has any questions, ping in the chat window, or you can directly ask me. Okay, especially non-IT guys, please do not hesitate to ask questions. Okay, so anyone or
Hey
someone ping?
Kaushik, this is
Yeah,
Chaitra.
yes, please.
I'm a performance tester since 4 years. Okay, so from this specific, the content, uh, the initial
Mhm.
few topics, most of it I know, but the bonus topic which you have showed towards the end of it, right? I'm actually
Uh-huh.
more interested towards that. Probably I do not know most of it, 90% of it. Okay.
Okay.
So when you say it is a bonus topic, what is
Mm.
the level of coverage for that?
In short, I will say whatever is sufficient for a performance tester to manage their day-to-day activities to that extent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay.
You got my point, right?
Specifically
So
that
with
APM
that, you will
monitoring.
be when you
Yes,
work
yes,
on
I
a
got it. Yeah.
project. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Specifically,
Yes,
even I
APM
work for
monitoring,
agile
APM monitoring.
projects. Yeah, agile project. So
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I'm very, very much keen to learn the CI/CD Jenkins integration actually. That's because when I checked for the course also, my specific question was related to that. And also, I work for applications which are Python based, specifically machine learning applications.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not sure like how it is different for that. So anything on that part, if the technology is Python or the application is AML based, so what different can be done from the
No.
existing, which we go with such coverage? No, right?
No, I don't think any difference is there. See,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is an application for us. If it's a web application, it's a web application for us. We don't see the underlying technology of it. Yes, we have to know what is the underlying technology using which they have developed or built it. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
from the performance testing perspective, it doesn't have any impact on us. So our tool will be able to handle the applications which are developed by various technologies, including Python.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
so
Specifically, that
we
is.
yeah. So one more point. So we test applications of Pega technologies or .NET, Java, PHP, Python. So whatever may be the underlying technology, that doesn't have any impact on us.
Okay, okay. So I definitely I'll be willing to join this. Uh, if at all I may need little more additional support from specifically that CI/CD integration, will you be able to help me?
Yeah, so see, basically, as part of this course, what we are trying to
Mm,
do is I'm just explaining the Jenkins. Okay, like what is GitHub, what is Jenkins, and how is it important? I mean, how it is important in agile projects. For what purpose we use Jenkins, and till now there was no concept of performance testing in actually Jenkins space. So Jenkins or CI/CD space. Suddenly,
mm,
why they are saying performance testing with respect to Jenkins? I mean Jenkins or with respect to the CI/CD or okay. So if you ask me, still out of 100 projects, 90 projects still didn't implement this Jenkins part for performance testing projects. The reason
right.
there are various reasons, and then there is a still big debate going on because it's
Mm-hmm.
not a simple test that we run. Okay, that
Right.
let's say that development team developed something and deployed, okay, and you want to run it test automatically through Jenkins. So you can run a functional test or say automation test, but for performance you need to have you need to run with many users, and most of our current applications are dependent on test data. So if your applications are purely dependent on test data, which it cannot simulate automatically, then it is not possible to integrate with CI/CD pipeline or Jenkins. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Okay, and one more point, a debatable point is, so deployment they keep on doing every 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. So why do we need to run a performance test, complete performance test for 2 days, 3 days unnecessarily? Not required. Why do you want to apply or put the complete load on the servers for every 2 3 days unnecessarily? Not required. So that's a debate going on, and projects are trying to customize accordingly, and they want to initially start with smoke test, then see how it goes, and then
Mm-hmm.
continue with load test and all. So that's how it is in the market.
Mm-hmm.
But from my course content point of view, we are going to discuss what is LoadRunner, what is GitHub, why it is important now as now in the current market, and how do you trigger performance testing scenario from Jenkins. Okay, so I will tell you how to download Jenkins, how to install Jenkins in your machine, how do you trigger your performance test scenarios from Jenkins. Okay, so that's what we are going to cover. Apart from that, if you need any additional help, okay, you can connect offline, because I cannot extend beyond that due to some limitations here
Mm-hmm.
in the course.
Okay. That feasibility is there means I'm okay with that, Kaushik. Yeah. If for just that, we have a requirement to do CI/CD for only APIs actually. So that's the question. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and also I'll
Yeah. One,
connect
one last question I have.
yeah, tell me.
Yeah. Just a silly probably. So is it possible to integrate with GitLab instead of Jenkins?
You can see all are, I mean, GitLab is one other alternative for all this Jenkins GitHub.
Yeah.
So GitLab is one single
Correct.
platform. Okay, so
Okay.
definitely, I mean, you can integrate. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, many people
Yeah.
are
Because
doing that.
as per this micro focus documentation, they always say Jenkins. They never mentioned any other tool name. So that
No,
question.
no,
Yeah. Thank you.
no. I mean, yeah, you can always do that. Yeah. Yes,
Thank
Vijay,
you.
please go ahead.
Yeah, Krushik, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Krushik. This is Vijay here. Even I also, a little bit experienced with around 8+ of years experience working in IT. So, so the protocols, whatever you are teaching here, you just it's kind of, to my knowledge here, web protocol and as well as true client you have mentioned. I think in one of the page, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, are there any other protocols that you will be covering as part of this course, Krushik?
So web and TrueClient we will cover. Web services is recorded. I mean, is a protocol given to you as a recorded sessions.
Okay. Okay. So you'll be not giving. I mean, teaching how that to working out with web services, both some Rust and some. So
No, I mean, there are recorded sessions. Okay, for that. So we are just
okay.
giving that because of the course duration. It's going so far. I mean,
Okay.
see,
I got it. Okay.
with the bonus topics included, the course
Mm-hmm.
it's taking like for up to 45 sessions. It's taking. Actually, it's too huge. So
Okay.
generally, I mean, we would have winded up by 30 sessions, but because we need to cover some additional topics which are out of the box and which are being asked in the interview, like APM tools, SAP dumps, like thread dumps, and all. So that's
Yes.
the reason
Mm.
we are giving recorded sessions of web services. Okay, and also this point is there, right?
Yeah.
Connecting to database using LoadRunner. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, there in that particular session, if you, when you are connecting to database, I'm using Java vUser protocol. So in a way, you can understand how this particular code also gets generated.
Okay. Okay. Considering this as
Got
also
my point, right?
another protocol.
Yeah, obviously, because I mean,
Yeah.
when you want to connect to various databases, this is the protocol people choose. So
Okay.
it's always better to keep it in our bucket, product and any other protocol like this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Great.
So
Yeah.
any
Thank
other
you.
questions, guys? Yes, thanks. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Kashuk. This is Vijendra.
Yes, Vijendra, please go ahead.
See, regarding the two client protocol kind of thing, so you said that only one class is taken actually. So do you think that one session, the entire two client protocol can be learned?
Uh, See, it depends on the way of teaching actually. So what I can assure you is, with that session, you will be able to develop your script on your own. Okay. So if you ask me to, generally, if you want to learn, if you want to learn True Client Protocol as a standalone separately, it hardly takes 5 to 7 days max. If you still want to learn per hour per day or whatever you want slowly one by one also, it hardly takes 5 days max to max. Not required that much. So whatever the session that we are taking, that is good enough to develop your script, develop the script on your own. Okay. So every time that
But
that session goes for
debugging,
a couple of
debugging
hours,
actually. Not only see, it's
you
kind of
can do it.
recording, but
See, you can do it. I
mm,
mean, debugging. See, generally only two issues come majorly. One is
mm.
object synchronization issue. One is object not find issue. Object not found issue. Those are the only two main issues that come in True Client Protocol. So obviously, debugging is one of the aspects. It comes with practice. So even if I take session for 4 hours, even if you don't practice, it won't come, right? So it's as simple as that. So basically, this course is designed to in such a way that it covers most of the things. Okay. I mean, if you want to learn that True Client and the other protocol independently, it will take few more days. If you go by small concept, if you continue to learn for 40 minutes 45 minutes per day, it will take 4 or 5 days. Instead of that, we are wrapping it in 2 hours in single day, in that particular session itself. I mean, I'll tell you how to identify, how to write XPaths on your own. Okay, instead of going for automated way of finding an object, how to write your own XPath. Okay, how to parameterize data. So those stuff we will see in True Client Protocol.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, someone privately pinged me what is difference between LoadRunner JMeter. And see, I mean, JMeter is an open source tool. LoadRunner is a licensed tool. Then which company will use which tool? It depends on the company. I mean, as per my knowledge, I have seen all the banking, financial sectors you mostly use LoadRunner because they give more importance to their data in terms of security. Because LoadRunner is from Micro Focus, and it's a licensed tool. With license, they give security to the data, company's data. Okay, and they also have support. if you get stuck with some of the issue, you can directly reach out to the Micro Focus team. They will help out in resolving that issue for you. But whereas when it comes to JMeter, it's an open source. Okay, and if you have some issues, you have to rely on some forums, open, open Google forums or whatever it is. Okay. Yes, there are good amount of companies using JMeter also. Okay, but I mean that's the reason I said both are most widely used tools in the market. It all depends. But if you ask me, sir, should I learn LoadRunner? Should I learn JMeter? I'll tell you, if you want to make a career in performance, learn both, but not at a time. Either you start with LoadRunner or start with JMeter, but learn one by one. If you don't, please don't travel. Please don't learn or travel at the same point of time. You'll end up learning 30-40% of both the tools, which is not required to, which is not sufficient to clear the interview. Okay. So LoadRunner, yeah, one more point. LoadRunner supports more amount of protocols than JMeter. It's a known fact. Okay, and it's a licensed one. Okay, that's the difference. Any other questions you guys have? Okay, I'm expecting some questions from non-IT guys especially. Okay, so for them, if there are many students, okay, many participants from non-IT, I would like to take an additional session for them, just to make them familiar with the performance testing terms and terminologies and how the project works in our day-to-day. I mean, how the performance testing work runs in day-to-day work, day-to-day activities. Okay, so that they will get some idea about, okay, these are the terms, this is how it works. Okay, this is their target, this is how we have to practice. So that session is for non-IT guys. However, everyone can join if they are interested. That will be on weekend, probably whenever there's a chance on weekend. That's the one weekend we will give it to them.
Kaushik, I just
Sure,
want
sure.
to.
And this,
Uh, hey, go ahead. Go ahead. I just want to know that the recorded session of each session will be shared to us.
Yes, good question. Yes. Every day recorded session will be shared. See, actually, the session is evening time, our time, right? I mean, Indian time, probably 9 to 10 daily. So the recorded session will be given to you tomorrow morning. I mean, let's say if today 9 to 10 the session is going on, by tomorrow morning you will get the recorded session. Okay, because at the admin team will not be available during this time. So every day morning time they will share the yesterday's recorded session.
Sure. Thank you.
And the sessions are from Monday to Friday, same time, 9 to 10 p.m. Indian time.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay, then. If you have any further questions, right? Please do reach out to me in the WhatsApp group. I'm there in the WhatsApp group as well. I'll just ping in the group, and you can reach out to me for any further queries. For any, I mean, course related queries, you can reach out to me. For any payment related queries, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Kumar sir is also available in the WhatsApp group. Okay, if you want, I can just ping his number. 1 second. Let me ping Kumar sir's number to you in the chat window. Okay, so that you will have,
okay,
if there are any additional questions, you can reach out to him directly.
okay. From when this will be starting? Do we know the date?
Uh,
Actual
Mostly
course
from tomorrow only. Mostly tomorrow only.
tomorrow. Okay.
I just pinged Kumar sir's number. Okay, so if you want, you can reach out to him as well. Okay, so any further queries, please do ping me in the WhatsApp group, and I hope to see all of you in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you and have a great rest of the day.